Alrighty, so time hopefully most people, I would imagine everyone's waiting for. Time that, whole radio row and everything is built up for. It's time to make our Super Bowl picks. I forgot to put it in the spreadsheet. I'll let you go first, John. I guess technically the Bucks are at home. It's in Tampa Bay, but Kansas City is favored by 3.5. So, John, who do you have, Tampa Bay or KC?
Uh, I'll be honest. To me, it feels like an easy Kansas City, but the issues with the offensive line for Kansas City is kind of worrying me a little bit because I mean, just statistically proven, if you can get pressure on a quarterback, then their quarterback rating is going to go down. They're going to complete less passes, more likelihood of turnovers, all that kind of stuff. It just makes life on your defensive backs way easier. And even just thinking back to Brady's career when he faced, I would compare this Kansas City team is almost like that undefeated Patriots team and how they just feel so unstoppable. There's just so much firepower that they have. Um, for the Patriots, it was Brady, it was Randy Moss, it was Wes Welker, just all the guys that they had over there. And now, Kansas City, it's Mahomes, it's Tyreek Hill, it's Travis Kelsey. And so the one thing though that got to that Patriots team was the Giants' defensive line and how Justin Tuck and Jason Pierre-Paul were able to just get a lot of pressure on Brady even without blitzing, and that just changed the game plan entirely for the Patriots because now they have to worry about Brady getting sacked and he's not mobile. Now, in Mahomes' case, he is mobile, so I think that he can still make some things happen. But just the offensive line issues that the Chiefs have had this year have just been just horrible. I mean, both of their starting tackles are out now. Mitchell Schwartz was out earlier in the year, but Eric Fisher now he goes down. He's out for this game. They've had issues with their center. I think getting COVID this week because of some barbershop stuff. The barber got COVID. Yeah, getting a haircut. They had some of their guards get out earlier. I think it was Kalechi Osmele. He's
He had
not
like
playing.
for a good 2 games and he got injured again. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so they've just had a lot of offensive line turmoil, and I mean we've seen that Buccaneers defensive line, especially with Vita Vea playing. I mean they're just scary. I mean we saw what they were able to do last week against Green Bay, who I think even amidst their injuries has a better line than the Chiefs do right now, because they still have some Pro Bowlers along that line. The Chiefs don't really have any, so I'm a little worried because Vita Vea, he's just a monster on the middle. And it collapses a pocket when you have a defensive tackle that can really make pressure come through the middle. But then on the outside, you have to deal with Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul. So that's the one issue I have. But that being said, I've always been a big person that believes in you don't bet against Tom Brady. But I think for the first time in a Super Bowl, I'm betting against Tom Brady. And I think the X factor here is Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy and then Patrick Mahomes and his legs, because I think that they're going to scheme up plays that are going to allow Patrick Mahomes to potentially get into space, just so that he doesn't have to deal with the kind of pressure that the Buccaneers are going to bring. And also, I just think that they're going to make sure that Mahomes has plays where he's going to be able to get the ball out quick, and be able to attack that Buccaneers secondary. Because we saw the last time they played, they were not able to stop Tyreek Hill. I think they're going to be worried about that speed this game, so they're going to see a lot more double teams, which is just going to open up the field for Nicole Hardman, Travis Kelsey. I think Sammy Watkins is questionable, and if he's playing, that's another big boost. So I'm taking the Chiefs. I think this is the beginning of the dynasty run. They'll be the first team to go back to back since Tom Brady and the Patriots did it. And I mean, I think Bruce Arians and the coaching staff over there is great, but one of the big key pieces why it was always don't bet against Brady is because Bill Belichick was there as well. And just the combo of them, it was just so hard to really see them losing. But yeah, I think that Mahomes, the Chiefs, the offense they have, I can't see them being stopped even amidst the offensive line issues. So I'm taking the Chiefs. I think they're going to cover. I think they win by a touchdown. If it was 3 points, I'd feel a little safer. 3.5 has got me worried. It's a close game, but I'm going with the baby goat here. I'm taking Patrick Mahomes.
He says he's a wolf by spirit animal apparently. I don't know if you've heard that one.
Why do you
Uh,
know that?
it was on like a radio. I was listening to Pro Football Talk, and like they it's just like a soundbite they had, and then he said like if because someone asked him like what would your spirit animal be, and who do you think Kelsey's would be, and he's like, oh, and he said Kelsey's was like a giraffe. He had some weird, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I don't. This was a tough one, but ultimately came down to for me, I think the Chiefs just because I just don't see them either it's gonna be a close game, whether the Bucks or Chiefs win, or the Chiefs are gonna blow out the Bucks. It's one of the two. And the way, like you mentioned, especially last week against Green Bay, just 2 to 3 interceptions were just bad decisions by Brady, and it was like you mentioned when pressure came. I mean, one was on a Darnell Savage blitz where the running back didn't pick him up. That was the one where he just, I think the last one where he just threw it up in the air for Jair, and then the other one, I forgot. I blacked out that game in the back of my head. But
Most one.
I forget. There's the first one. Um,
There's two to Jair, and then there's one to Amos. I think Amos was the
Amos
first
is the
one.
one. Amos he left it in the air too long. Amos
Yeah.
was able to snag it too long, and he almost had a fourth one. I remember after we threw the intercept or Rodgers threw the interception because of the hold. He almost threw one because it went right in the hands of one of our other cornerbacks. Anyway, so I mean, yeah, and this is another thing too. Steve Spagnuolo, part of those two of Brady's losses in the Giants, like you mentioned. But he also is very good at confusing Brady. I mean, he did it in the first matchup. I mean, one of the picks, I don't know if you saw, he threw it off his lineman's head because they were just all over him, and it ended up being a pick. But yeah, especially with Chris Jones, Frank Clark, and then their secondary's been solid, and they're exotic and creative enough, especially with Tyrann Mathieu in the back, and just really the three safeties they use him, Thornhill, and Sorensen. I mean, credit Steve Spagnuolo. This defense is better than we give it credit for, and I feel like it goes for both teams. But really, Kansas City, we think of Kansas City as the great offense, but we forget they have three either stars and one I would say Chris Jones should be a superstar players on that defense, and a lot of solid guys around them and a great coaching staff. So, yeah, I'm going Kansas City, and then like you mentioned, offensive line. I'm not too worried about it. I think Andy Reid and that Patrick Holmes are the masters, especially Andy Reid and Bieniemy getting the ball out quick. They're going to get Mahomes on some rollouts. They're going to have a lot of misdirection pre-snap, so I think that's going to prevent this Bucks team from just flying around like they did against Green Bay. Also, because I mean, with the speed of like you mentioned, Tyreek Hill and then Mecole Hardman, and then like who do you double? Do you double Tyreek Hill? Do you double Travis Kelsey? That's what Buffalo couldn't figure it out. And Buffalo, we saw what happened with Buffalo. They couldn't. So and then I know there's a physicality factor if this game is called kind of like the Green Bay game, but unlike the Green Bay game, Kansas City once again has Tyreek Hill who can run past you. Yeah, you can grab him, but if you miss the grab, he's gone. Or Travis Kelsey, who's like a polar bear out there. Like how do you guard someone with that size and speed and agility? So yeah, going Kansas City to win and cover. Um, Also, because I would prefer them to win over Tampa Bay.
Same.
Yeah, I would like to see another dynasty, and I think they're gonna be a little upset because it's been annoying me though the whole Brady. It's all about Brady, but I feel like Kansas City's gonna feel slightly disrespected. Like we're the defending champs. Why isn't anybody talking that much about us? So I think they'll take that to heart, and I think they'll pull it off. So that's who I'm going with. Any
I think
rebuttal?
I think too. This is an opportunity for Mahomes to really like claim the league as his, because every league there's a guy who's kind of the face of it. The NBA, it's been LeBron James for years. I mean, with the NFL, it's pretty much been Tom Brady for his pretty much his whole career. I mean, the NFL is not as much as like the NBA where there's like one singular guy, but I mean, if you had to pick someone, it's Tom Brady for the NFL. And I think we're starting to see Mahomes transition to that. But I mean, if you beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, I mean, what better way to stamp, you're this is my NFL now. Like Brady, you're washed, you're done. Like this is Patrick Mahomes NFL. So yeah, if especially like I said, they'd be the first team to go back to back since Brady. It would clearly be a dynasty in the making if they were to win another one at any point during their careers. Which I think you know Mahomes and Andy Reid together, there's going to be a lot of Super Bowl appearances for these two. So plenty of opportunities, but even just winning one more throughout the career, just getting 3, it's a dynasty. So, yeah, I think they want this one bad. And like I said, they're the defending champs for a reason. I think a lot of people, they're not talking about guys like Tyrann Mathieu or Chris Jones and the impact that they can have. Um, but against Tom Brady, a guy who's not mobile, who we've seen, if they get some pressure on him, he makes poor decisions. Chris Jones is going to get that pressure through the middle. And like I said earlier, when that pressure comes through the middle, it's a lot harder because when it comes on the outside, you can step up in the pocket. When it comes to the middle, the pocket has collapsed. And when you can't roll out when you're Tom Brady, it's bad decisions can happen. So, yeah, I expect both of those guys to make big plays through this game. Like you said, Spagnuolo. I could see a lot of Tyrann Mathieu blitz packages coming and just getting creative with the way that they use him because ultimately they're going to have to get creative with that wide receiver core that Tampa Bay has anyway because they just have a lot of weapons. You're going to have to do a lot of stuff to try and get Tom Brady confused and get pressure on him early because if you just let him have time, one of those wide receivers is going to get open. So, but I believe in Kansas City is going to be able to do it because, I mean, as we've talked about before, one thing that separates Kansas City from a lot of other teams is obviously they have the offense, but their defense, they show up when it matters. And, I mean, we saw in the 49ers game last year, they showed up at the end. They forced Jimmy Garoppolo into an interception. And so, yeah, I think that could potentially happen in this game as well.
I think too for Kansas City, we might see a better performance because they've already been to a Super Bowl. They already played under the bright lights, and this is I don't want to say it's less Super Bowl, but it'll be less bright lights, not as many fans, not packed, and on top of everything else. So, yeah. And then I was gonna say something else, but yeah, I forgot. But
So, like, what a sucky year to be the first team ever
to
to
get
go to the
a
Super Bowl in their home city. You just like they would have had such a big home
but
field advantage.
but would it really have mattered? Because those Super Bowl tickets are expensive, and most of the time they're sold
Oh,
out like midway through the season. So it's like
they are, but I mean, just all the people in Florida that would want to go, like who might have not gone to a Super Bowl if it was somewhere else, who would be Tampa Bay Buccaneers
like
fans, like all the
tailgating
rich people
maybe.
there, yeah, or tailgating, or just the atmosphere. I don't know. I just feel like because you're the home team, there it would just be wild.
Would be. But yeah, and I, I think next year it's in L.A. So we'll see. I mean, like we mentioned from the beginning, maybe the
Maybe the
Rams,
Rams.
Rams and the
Herbert.
Chargers, Herbert, if they can get him a darn O line. So yeah, we're both going Kansas City. I forgot to mention we kind of mentioned the last picks podcast. I'm already ahead of John, and we both picked the same thing today. So, but hey, what a heck of a comeback! And I gotta adjust my camera. It seems like I'm shorter than you, which I don't know if that's true, but I feel like I'm really looking really. I feel like I look really short. I don't know. Yours was fine. I gotta adjust mine. But yeah. Other than that, for next week we will be definitely do a Super Bowl reaction, and I'll probably push the basketball into that to either probably after or before. I'd probably want to do it after the Super Bowl. So extend a little bit of hiatus on basketball since not much is going on, but games are kind of starting to get back up. And then we'll see next week how we feel exactly. But we'll probably take a break after the basketball, like a week, maybe two. We'll figure it out. But otherwise, yeah, I'm glad we finally got to be able to do this not only via audio, but now YouTube. Obviously, if you're on YouTube, you should be able to see. So that their Instagram is up top, which for you audio people that can't see, unfortunately, it's at Shut Up and Ball Pod. You can hit us up there, or on our Facebook page, which is just Shut Up and Ball. And then if you hit Twitter, which I guess not many people use Twitter, it's just at Shut Up and Ball. But otherwise, you can feel free to give us. We're also wherever you're listening to. Feel free to give us feedback and advice of how this all worked out. Hopefully everything worked out. But just from what I've seen, it's been awesome. Okay, my
And
camera
if you
hasn't
are
froze.
listening, if you're not watching, we are on YouTube. We have recorded this live. We got our faces on here. So check out the YouTube channel. Give us subscribe.
Yep. My goal, we're recording this on Friday. My goal is to have it out tomorrow afternoon, which is be Saturday before the Super Bowl, because there'd be no point of having this out on Sunday. But last question before we get off, John. I know it's COVID. Any plans for Sunday?
Uh, I mean, I have a few friends that are doing Super Bowl parties, but this year I'm just gonna be watching it with my dad. My parents, when I was younger, they used to throw Super Bowl parties but they don't do that as much anymore. And throughout college, I was obviously I was never home, so I never got to watch it with them. But yeah, I decided to just watch it with my dad this year. He's diehard Cowboys fan, loves watching Cowboys with me. Even unfortunately, every game we watched together this year, they lost, which kind of sucked.
Cursed.
Didn't get to watch any of the wins together. I We could have watched the Steelers game together, which was actually a good one, but I thought we were gonna get smoked, so I didn't even suggest it. But I wish we did. Anyway, so yeah, watch with my dad. My mom's gonna be there. I don't know if there'll be anyone else, but I think it's just the fam, keeping it small. Which I mean, for a COVID year, kind of what you expect.
Yeah, just one more follow up. Do you know what y'all are getting? Are you getting, are y'all wings or a pizza or both family or something different? Your mom
Uh,
cooks. I'm just curious.
in previous years, we went all out: wings, pizza, queso. But that was also with like other people there.
Yeah.
So it'll probably won't be all of the stuff, but I was actually thinking about that today on my way home from work. Like, man, we gotta figure out what we're eating.
Uh, yeah.
So currently don't know, but with any of those, can't go wrong. All I know is that queso is a must.
Yeah. All right. Well, my family's if anything like someone cooked like a big meal for everybody. But obviously for Sunday, I think I'm going with my parents. They called me while I was at work, and I forgot to call them back. Um, but I'll probably go over there and I'll probably cook. And I think so. I forgot in case for listeners that don't know. My stepdad's a Chief fan, not born raised, but he was raised in Kansas City. Got to meet a lot of the players, and he's gone through some terrible quarterbacks. So, but anyway, I think they think he confirmed my mom too, to Chief fan. I think they think I'm like their good luck charm. I was there last year. They won the Super Bowl. I'm assuming that's why they. I mean, also because I'm the son, they love me. Don't know what we'll do. Um, I don't know. If not, if I don't go to my parents, I'll probably be watching at home with my girlfriend. It's our anniversary weekend. So, other than that, not much there. We've always been more of a pizza family. I just wings are too much to do at the same time for the game. Do you always
Also,
order? What?
I said it's also a bit messy. So if you're like watching it in front of the TV, the sauces get all over
It's a
your
lot of work.
hands.
It's a lot of work. If
Yeah,
you really enjoy. If you're not enjoying it, then yeah. But yeah, pizza's
yeah.
a little more mindless. So if I'm hoping they go pizza. Knowing my stepdad, he likes to cook, and he's a good cook, but he'll probably cook something. So, or I don't know, maybe not. Maybe he'll be super stressed. But regardless, hope everyone enjoys their Super Bowl Sunday. Good luck on Super Bowl Monday. I totally forgot this year. I keep telling myself every year, I'm like, make sure I request that day off so I can just relax, because it's gonna go until like 10 or 11 our time. So, but I forgot. But other than that, hope everyone has a safe Super Bowl weekend. Hopefully Brady doesn't win another one, or else I can't. I'm not gonna. We may do the basketball one for the football one if Brady wins another one. I may need a few days to just, because God, I'm just gonna you. Everyone knows that it's gonna be flooding your timeline for the next 2 3 days. Wherever you go, it's gonna follow you. Brady, Brady,
And I'll
Brady,
say
Brady, Brady,
this:
Brady.
the worst part about that is there's going to be Bill Belichick slander
Oh
for
my
no
God.
reason. For
Like,
no reason.
and yeah, I mean, we can go on for another 20 minutes about that, but I'll leave it at that because we got a lot to do. Otherwise, I'm gonna let John enjoy his night. We've been here for almost 3 hours. But other than that, I hope everyone has a great Super Bowl weekend. Be safe and have a nice one. Good night, everybody.